Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to go back to that 20mm review series and we're going to be taking a look at the Battlezone Miniatures range. Now you might be thinking, who on earth are Battlezone Miniatures? And to be completely honest, I was a bit unsure when they first reached out to me, but Steve is a fantastic bloke. I think he's a fellow wargamer like us, and he's got a massive range of US Army and Russian figures. Some of them are from the old Sgt Mess range as well as early war miniatures, so it's definitely worth checking them out. And they've also got the Coat d'Arms paint range, so we're going to be looking at those in a little bit more detail. Now they sent me the US Marines War Dog team as well as a load of other Marines, but to start us off, let's go with the War Dogs because why not? They look awesome and these figures are absolutely lovely. You can see that there's plenty of detail, especially for 20mm figures. This particular guy is a dog handler with his M1 Garand. Now the detail isn't as pronounced as you would expect from like AB figures and such, but the uniqueness of them definitely makes up for that, and the detail is where it needs to be. They actually paint up really nicely. I've painted up a couple so far and I think they've painted up really well. Now we can see this is an assault squad now that we're looking at. He's got a shotgun and then we're moving on to a guy with bazooka. A lot of them have got different ways that they're holding their weapons and their shirts. So like some have got their tunics done up, some have got their shirts opened up, as you'd expect with those hot and humid sort of days in the Pacific. We've got a guy running with a flamethrower, which is a really cool pose. You very rarely see that. The actual metal is actually pretty strong. It doesn't take too much to bend, but you know, you can drop it and it's not going to snap off instantly. So yeah, I like that. I like to be able to bend my miniatures. Sometimes they're a bit too stiff, which probably isn't a complaint, but having soft metal sometimes is easy for like conversions and stuff. Now we're going to be looking at the Russians. We got this particular guy running, pointing with his PPSH. That's really cool. Then we got a guy with his rifle and bayonet. Again, let's have a closer look at some of those details. You can see that there's enough detail in that rifle to be able to paint it up nicely, and the rifle bends. It's soft enough that it's going to bend, but it's not just going to break off and then you're going to be spewing. Then we got the PPSH. Needs a little bit of work in terms of bending it back into shape, but it looks really good. And I love the fact that the head options are optional. You can decide what head you want, if you want them in helmet or hat, as well as a few extra weapons there. Now they also do vehicles, so we've got this landing craft now, and the lovely thing about these is they also come with crew, but the actual vehicle itself is relatively nice. There's very little cleanup involved. Comes in a few small parts, which is awesome for quick war gamers like us, want to slap something together really nicely, and you can tell that the detail is where it needs to be. It looks really good. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to be assembling this correctly. I'm just doing it purely off what I assume it should look like, but if the various parts are meant to fit in that bit there, then that's what it seems to look like it's meant to do. That actually looks right and it fits in the slot nicely. But the great thing about these is they come with crew, and I think that's something that's lacking in a lot of these sorts of vehicles. You get the landing craft, but you don't get the crew, which makes it. Now I did say they have a Coat d'Arms range, and I'm informed these are the old Warhammer paints, or they were the lead up to the Warhammer paints. Now he's got a huge range of these paints, based out of the UK, so well worth grabbing some if this is the sort of paints that you're after. They come in this fancy pot, exactly like you'd see in like the sort of Warhammer style. The paint, oh pardon the dropping of the miniature there, the paint actually comes out relatively well. It's quite light on the pigment front, so it does require a coat or two, but you can see after it's had a wash, I used their black wash as well. I'm reapplying that same paint on this particular miniature, and this obviously only needed one coat. This is just a layer now that I'm putting on there for the uniform, and that went on really nicely. And then you can see that I've come up with a highlight color here, and I'm applying that, and it went on really well again with just one coat. The great thing about having less on the pigment is I feel like it's going to protect your brush strands a lot better, and some people do like to work with multiple coats and have like a more of a thin down paint. But yeah, it really does come down to taste and personal preference. I found the paints to be really easy to use, and they've actually look really nice. So well worth grabbing some, and this is how he's come out. if you're familiar with this paint range, as I wasn't, but if you are, then you might already know what you can do with them. Yeah, really nice set of paints. I'm going to be creating guides for Battlezone as well using their paint range, so you're not going to be seeing tutorials as such using them, but you will be able to access their guides using the paint range, and this US Marine will be one of the first ones to appear. Now, they do look like they're compatible with a lot of other companies out there like AB Figures, Simon Soldiers, Checkpoint Miniatures. I even put a photo of them compared to Early War Miniatures. The Early War Miniatures looked a little bit smaller, but you can definitely get away with it. It's definitely passable. But yeah, I'd love to know in the comment section below if you've used Battlezone Miniatures or if you're going to be using them, and if you think they are compatible with other manufacturers that are out there. Please do let me know if you're looking forward to seeing a US Marine tutorial. I'll be using these fantastic Battlezone sculpts for that one as well. Please do go show them love if you're interested in the figures from this review. Yeah, that would be awesome. Massive thanks to Steve and the team at Battlezone for sending me out these samples and the paint range. I really do look forward to getting stuck in with all of them. Alright guys, enough of me rambling on. I'm going to leave it here and I will catch you at the next one.